This film stands high and proud in one of the biggest pieces that I've ever watched, and people seem to love it. Now, I watched this film with one of my friends, and we both came to the same conclusion. This film is absolutely irredeemable. Now, it's a show, technically, called Monsterland, and the premise of the show is basically each episode is like a little 1-hour movie. They're all bad, okay? At least the 3 that we've watched. We plan to finish the entire series, but my god, episode 2 stands out as probably one of the worst things. It's like taking a cheese grater to your balls for $1 million, but there's no $1 million.
It's all like not millennial. It's all like things that people do not fucking say, and it's trying really hard to be like quirky in a way.
That encapsulates it. What it is it's someone who has never been a part of any internet communities, someone who has never been like a gamer, trying to write a show about extremist online communities and trying to write gamers. This is so interesting because it's the core problem with why this feels out of touch and why this feels like it's trying to say something with no substance. They're trying to talk about an issue that they fundamentally do not understand. So you're probably wondering, what is the plot of this piece of shit? We start with a very forced interaction that is only taking place in this drugstore for a later scene, if you're wondering why this thing that makes no sense is happening. And we open with our character purchasing medication.
Please remove your food from the counter. Sir, for hygiene purposes, can you remove your food from the counter?
Freaking weirdo.
I'm sorry, did you catch that?
Freaking weirdo.
And this is where the inauthentic, cringe, forced dialogue, like, it's like an alien saw a movie and then decided to replicate it. Like, these fucking nerds that are playing, like, sword fighting in a drugstore for whatever reason, in the middle of the aisle, are saying, wow, what a weirdo for having fast food on the counter. This scene doesn't make sense. It's to establish the fact that this guy's a bit of an outcast, which could have been communicated and is communicated better later on in this film. Not well, mind you, but better.
That comes out to $248.61.
What? Dollars?
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 What?
What?
Dollars?
Dollars?
Yes, sir. $248.61.
We have insurance.
This is when you're going to notice the horrible acting in this film, and to pull a horrible performance for an incredible actor like this man, this speaks to a lack of direction.
Mom's still on Oregon Community Health Plan?
Yeah.
Looks like they stopped covering Ativax as of 3 weeks ago.
Did you catch that? His mom is sick. That's what we call subtle foreshadowing.
How can I do that?
Hey, do you want to take that again?
How can I do that?
No? That's such poor acting.
I have...
Get it because he's poor? No. So he asks, what can I get for $38? And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I say this. Again, I want to point out, I don't know if you can just get like a portion of your medicine. I don't think that's how a prescription works.
It's not. You're prescribed a set amount of pills for a set amount of money.
Yeah.
And like 30 pills for 30 days, and it costs like $60. You can't just pay them $20 for 10 pills.
Hey buddy, are you still with me? I want you to remember this scene coming up. So if I hadn't told you to remember the scene, you would probably see it as him looking at other people having fun and being angry again. But this becomes an important location for the plot. I guess I shouldn't have gotten on to them about subtle foreshadowing. I'm going to show 3 main theories that people have about this movie later on, and a lot of the praise of this movie for being some sort of artistic masterpiece filled with subtlety. And this is where I have to put some of the blame on the editor, because they clearly don't trust you to make any connections for yourself. We have this scene where he walks into his house and touches these bells on the ceiling. That looks like a movie that is going to invite you to ask questions and to put things together, especially in the follow-up when you can see his mom and him talking, and you can see something is a little bit off. But that is entirely undercut by the choice to include the drugstore scene earlier. We already know he has medicine for his mom, therefore we know what the bells are for. We already saw the interaction at the drugstore, so we know why he's cutting up the pills. We don't have to discover he's an outcast through his behavior. We see it because some weird kids playing with swords made fun of him at the drugstore. And this is why when people praise this movie for artistic subtlety and a hidden meaning with the ending that was cleverly laid out and invites you to think about it, which we'll get to, don't you worry. But I roll my eyes because they explain something so simple as his mom being sick and him being an outcast by basically just telling you at the beginning of the movie, because they don't respect the audience's intelligence. But then they want you to believe this movie has some deep meaning behind it, that it's some clever analogy for, well, that's spoilers.
Hit or stay.
Stay. 18.
And the fans go crazy!
So we landed the actor that performed in Ozark, a show that has no bad actors. Some of the greatest performances of all time, some of the greatest performances drug out by this same actor. We write dialogue for him that sounds like this.
Boom! Mic drop!
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Boom!
Boom!
And we clearly gave him no fucking direction because he clearly doesn't have any passion about the fucking scene that he's filming.
What's this card?
6.
And this one rhymes with heaven.
7.
Luckily, since I never saw the drugstore scene, this is actually very interesting. It builds intrigue. Why is he talking to her like that? Oh, he's clearly messing with her because they're having a little back and forth. That was kind of weird, though. Why does she talk like that? This is so intriguing and interesting. I'm empty inside.
Got a B+ on my math test. Hit or stay.
Stay, Mr. B+.
So he tucks his mom in, and in case you still don't know what the bells are for,
Just give me a jingle.
I love my bells.
This shows the,
Genius.
my bells.
dude, she got a stroke. Leave her alone.
Said all my fellow bell lovers in chat, he starts playing video games because he's a gamer. He loves games. He loves games.
Watch and learn, motherfuckers!
So this controller is clearly not on, and you might say that's nitpicking, except for the fact that it's on in the next shot, so continuity.
Wanna go again?
Nah, not me. I gotta go fuck the old ball and chain before she dries up.
You mean fuck your fist, dick?
Fuck you. Later, Nick.
This is the writing of like a 50-year-old Jewish woman who has only heard Xbox Live Party chats when her grandson comes to visit, and she puts on her noise-canceling headphones so she doesn't have to listen to people yelling slurs coming from the floorboards. Oh, gamers talk vulgar, right? The audacity of including a line like this.
Fuck your fist, dick?
Even if you were gonna write fuck your fist, no one says fuck your fist, dick. It syntactically doesn't even make sense. Let's forget a second that they're writing gamers in one of the most insulting ways possible. My alien theory is becoming a lot more credible because human beings don't speak like this. Nick, sit your ass back down. We're gonna have a talk about that desktop. Now, you know that video on YouTube where a director goes over everything he hates about his movie because the color of the wool is 2 lumens too bright for the time period, and it means that he hates his movie, and he cringes every time it gets to that part?
They're burning too many candles all the time in this film. The family would probably only burn 1 candle at a time. The firewood is too much like modern firewood. It's too uniform.
That's Robert Eggers. He directed The Witch. You're not gonna get any of that in this movie. Sponsored by fucking Microsoft, were we? He's using Skype, first of all. This came out in 2020. Skype's not even open. You can clearly see it's not highlighted on the desktop. He's using Internet Explorer. He has the Microsoft Store and the email app pinned to his taskbar. This might seem nitpicking, but between the controller, plot inconsistencies, which you're gonna see later, and the segment coming up, this director didn't give a shit. Ooh, I bet you forgot this was a horror. Ooh. Wow, that's scary.
I'm a duck. Quack, quack.
a fucking duck, too.
Okay. So he takes a picture, and this is where the entire plot falls apart. The entire mystery of is it real or is it not is completely undercut by this single comment. This implies that someone obviously sees the shadow. If this comment is bullshit, then there's no mystery. He's obviously crazy. Nothing in this show points to the fact that this shadow might be real, except for this one comment. And if this one comment is real, then it contradicts the entire show. So as a director, or as an editor, whoever's fault this is, even if you were the director and weren't responsible for this part of the script, why would you ever allow this comment to slip past you if you had any directorial intent at all? Yeah, sorry, that wasn't the movie. That was the child locked in my closet. So he rendezvous with his mom because one theory you can start keying into now is that the shadow represents his mom. Shadow shows up, mom bells start ringing, cling cling, I love my bells. And then he goes to try to comfort her because she had a bad dream. I'm sure nothing in the future is gonna undercut that message.
My dad, left. Fucking dad leaves. Trying to find your dad? Dad goes out for a beer one night. Dad.
Well, shit. The dad thing. I have a challenge in reviewing this movie because most of it is, I wanted to say it is as wide as a lake and as shallow as a pond, but that's not even true. This is a very small story, and yet so much of it is wasted on meaningless bullshit. There are points in every act of this movie that are only there to show that Nick's having a rough time, but the scenes don't lead to anything else. Nick has a bad time at the drugstore. Nick gets fired. Ow! Nick's internet goes out. Nick's mom has an episode. These scenes take up entirely too much runtime and do not advance the plot in any way other than to say that Nick's not having a great time. The other thing is, during these scenes, Nick is an unlikable, whiny little bitch, and you can have a despicable anti-hero protagonist, that's fine. You don't even have to like a main character. Common misconception, you can despise a main character and make a great movie. This, however, clearly wants you to feel bad for Nick, put him in a victim role, show the corruption of Nick, and that's almost impossible when the director tells you to perform like this.
Yeah. Fuck you! Ow!
Nick!
What?
Uniform.
Once again, this is a perfect example of this scene goes nowhere other than he comes into work, he's late, he gets fired. The money thing doesn't come into play except for the internet scene that's coming up, which only serves to say, oh, another bad thing is happening to Nick. And is this supposed to be funny? Like, what is the tone here? Is that how you get around wasting my time? By trying to pretend that this is funny? And here's another example, if that wasn't enough for you, of Nick just kind of being a whiny bitch. Like, you can have a character that is upset, you know, maybe even unjustifiably, who has a shitty life and needs to take responsibility even, and not make them act like a child. Like, he could get angry, he could punch this locker, he could, you know, do whatever, and not come off like a whiny bitch.
What the fuck am I supposed to do without internet?
I'm sorry, sir. As soon as we receive your full payment, an email 130.
You know, and maybe this is a consequence of the acting just being bad as a result of no one caring about this project.
Dollars?
And the director not giving clear intent to her actors, but nonetheless, the result is the same. Nick is intensely unlikable. Part of the reason for this framing is so that they can set up one of the core messages in this movie, which is online radicalization. Something that has been talked about to the ends of the earth, which is you take someone who is lonely, isolated, has a shitty life, feels unaccepted, you give them a sense of community, a sense of purpose, and you drive them down whatever particular flavor of rabbit hole that you have for them. So that's why they want you to feel like Nick is some sort of sympathetic character. In the beginning, when he posted that Reddit post with the photoshopped comment, someone recommended he reach out to a group called Shadow Watch.
Shadow Watch.
we're introduced to the three musketeers of bad writing.
Know your enemy, and you shall win 100 battles without loss.
And in case you were worried we went 2 seconds without an obvious mistake that would have been caught by anyone who actually watched their movie, he actually tabs out of the form that he's about to be introduced to in the same scene where he's introduced to that very form. And they use this really annoying motif of him talking to these people in real life, despite the fact that we saw a Skype call earlier.
Fuck your fist, dick?
Which I don't like as a narrative motif, especially when it serves no purpose. But as I'll go over in the next section, and you'll come to realize, there are a lot of scenes in this movie that don't make sense if they're only online.
Fuck me! This shit's like gasoline, dude.
I don't even get the framework of why they're doing this. Oh, they're there talking with him, but they're not fucking there.
And not even in a, oh, he's crazy way, but in a, I literally would not understand the logistics of the difference between his crazy thoughts and what is actually happening in the conversation, because it's poorly communicated. I will cover these characters in more depth in the next section, but now that you've been introduced to them, I can finally introduce the library scene, which brings up more confusion about the method of which he's talking to this group, and shows another example of him kind of just being a whiny bitch. So his internet gets shut off because poor Nick, because he got fired because poor Nick. So he goes to the school library in order to communicate with his good pals in Shadow Watch.
Are you alright? I stayed online, I swear, but you just disappeared.
And the librarian sees this and calls security because some crazy man is talking to no one at the computer, which establishes that he is literally, when he's sitting in his room, talking out loud. How is this supposed to work? Is he speaking while typing? Who knows? One of the characters hands him a bottle of pills for his mom, and this is clearly something that could not have happened and points to him being crazy. But again, this scene only exists to further Nick's having a rough time, or if you want to be charitable, oh, I guess he might be crazy, right? But all of that tension of whether or not he might be crazy only exists because of that one comment on that Reddit post that said this is photoshopped. You take that out, and every single scene in this movie is not playing with any level of believability to any of the shadow monsters, and it's not playing into him being sane and it being real in any way. And the end of the movie would have you believe this is some kind of crazy revelation. So either the Photoshop comment was a complete oversight, in which case none of these moments make any sense of playing with is he crazy or is he not? And then the end of the movie doesn't make any sense. Or the it's photoshopped thing is a lazy attempt to make the end of the movie more interesting, but more than likely the editors didn't communicate at all. So you're probably thinking, well, I thought you said these scenes were pointless. You know, obviously it makes sense. He gets fired and then his internet gets out because he doesn't have any money, and then he goes to the school library and then this scene happens. And you'd be right if anything interesting or of note happened in this scene. The ultimate payoff of that series of events is another scene that tells you to feel bad for Nick.
What's your name, sir?
Nick? Smith?
Are you a student here?
Not anymore.
Then you can't be here.
Okay, fine, I'll go. Hey, my fucking bag!
Open the bag, sir. Slowly.
I mean, this is downright just emotionally manipulative. So we have this kid that clearly, she called security because he was talking to no one, which is a little weird. But the idea that security would come up and harass him and be like, open your bag, because he has a backpack at a school. Even if he said he's not a student here anymore, he's clearly using the computer. He's doing something. I just don't buy this interaction ever happening.
It's my system!
I'm sorry, it's your what?
It's my system!
Hold on, can you say that again?
It's my system!
People don't talk like that.
Fuck you!
Again, this lady kind of deserves it, but kind of also the least out of anyone, because she saw a crazy kid talking to no one. Probably should have called, guidance counselor or someone, not security. But that was the culmination of all of the events in the movie that have completely wasted your time. The conversation between him and the crew boils down to information that we already know, which is his internet is shut off, and them reassuring him.
You need something ever? All you have to do is ask.
Any manipulation you could ascribe to the person in the scene would be interesting if it was communicated in any way other than genuine concern here. So if you're going the, oh, it's online radicalization route, he had to tell him that to establish that he's like manipulative, that's not communicated at all in this scene, and we don't need to be in the library for that to have happened. Then he talks to his old teacher or somebody for a while. That's a complete waste of time. That leads nowhere.
Nick, is that you?
Hey, Miss Harmon.
Have you been, Nick? It's been so long.
Oh, yeah, I had to take some time off to take care of my mom.
Again, I haven't shown this yet, but you already could have guessed this by the fact that he's working a job that he has to wake up for instead of waking up for school. And even if you couldn't piece that together, the show tells you that earlier because they expect you to be mentally disabled. So this is not new information.
That must be very hard. What brings you in today?
I just had to check my email. Sorry.
That's all right. You know, you left something in my office last year. I've been saving it for you.
You have?
Uh-huh.
What is it?
I'll go get it. Just a moment. Stay there.
You know, as I'm rewatching this scene, I mean, it seems like a mostly pleasant interaction if you don't include the shot of her staring at his backpack. The implication there seems to be that she thinks it's some kind of gun or bomb because he has a backpack at school when they have a pre-existing relationship. I mean, this is fucking lazy. Are we really drilling down more on this angle of, man, everyone just thinks Nick's a weird guy? I don't buy that this universe just thinks Nick is so out there and weird when he hasn't been shown to be like that much of a weird character in general, but that he's so weird that people are just constantly afraid of him and think he's a freak.
Freaking weirdo.
You know, this scene would have a point if the police showed up to his house at any point during the movie. Then you can actually have an interesting, oh, I wonder what happened. Why did the police show up to his house? Oh, it's because that lady called the security on him at school, and they probably have his records. You know, if you tied the scene back to the plot in literally any way whatsoever, and then I wouldn't have felt like I wasted all of that time between him getting fired, the internet thing, him going to the library. The culmination of all of those events is absolutely nothing, and would have even been more impactful if that interaction that seemed mostly pleasant led to that teacher calling security and not some random librarian. But even then, we have not established this character at any point in the movie of being so strange and out there. We haven't gotten any information about like his school life. To think that there would be a single reason that this teacher would assume the worst intentions. So even if she had called security, I would have been rolling my eyes.
Fucking dad leaves, mom gets crippled, we go fucking broke, I lose my stupid job, can't even pay a stupid fucking bill, and people think I'm the fucking threat!
Again, if you want to say that the point of all of these scenes, which it seems like it, is feel bad for Nick, that's okay. But if you take a movie like Taxi Driver, for instance, bad things happen to Travis. Travis is lonely. That's part of his psychology. That's part of why the end of the movie happens. But those scenes of him being lonely, we're not just learning, oh, he's lonely, bad things happen to him, oh, this girl breaks up with him. We get chemistry between him and the girl, or lack thereof, because he doesn't know how to communicate with people. During the course of that chemistry, we learn that he's a weird guy through his behavior and through his actions. We learn he's a little socially awkward because he mistakes the, I'm a pusher, I'm a player, whatever the fucking line is.
He's a prophet. He's a prophet and a pusher. Partly truth, partly fiction. Walking contradiction.
For her being serious, and he says, I'm not a pusher, I've never pushed.
You're saying that about me?
Well, who else would I be talking about?
I'm no pusher, I never have pushed.
No, just the part about the contradictions. You are that.
That tells you something about that character, right? We get his journal entries and him saying these nonsensical ramblings about how he's going to become a better person.
I think I got stomach cancer. I shouldn't complain, though. You're only as healthy as you feel. You're only as healthy as you feel.
when bad things happen to Travis, when he talks about how he's feeling, it tells you something about the city, right? It tells you something about his coworkers. It tells you something about him. But more than that, all of this, the scenes, the build up to like that bad thing happening where the girl breaks up with Travis, that's why he chooses to focus on Palantine, right? We see that his political beliefs are not real. They only exist in reference to this girl. When he meets the prostitute and he talks about how dirty the city is, that prostitute comes in play later on in the movie. And then when he meets up with her, that eventually leads to the penultimate scene, right? Because he would not have been at that house to shoot those people if he hadn't have met that girl. And he wouldn't have this obsession with Palantine and cleaning up the city if it weren't for the girl previous to her. You take out those scenes and the movie doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, you take out the scenes of Nick getting fired, losing the internet, the library. You literally just have the drugstore scene even. Because the show tells you everything in exposition. You could even cut out the drugstore scene and just hear him bitch and whine to his fellow group members, and we would have all of the context that we need. This movie isn't going anywhere. So that brings me to the dad thing, which I don't even want to cover because it's such a pointless distraction in this movie to add to, them having different theories for the ending. That scene I told you to remember right after the drugstore where he's walking and he sits and he stares at the clearly ADR'd laughing mechanics. The only reason that scene exists after the drugstore one is so he can go and ask if his dad works there, which at the time we don't even know that that's his dad's name.
Hey!
So here's the deal, folks. I'm still working on the Linus video. I'm gonna put out a part 2 of this as well, but I could talk about this movie for about another hour. So at some point, we gotta call it. I gotta upload something. So stay tuned, subscribe, because I just have so much to talk about. This horrible abomination.
They fucking granny, I'm a fucking hip though. I don't give a shit, I'm a motherfucking schizo. Riding around town with a